Hey guys, Travis here, and I recorded this earlier, but I didn't post it. I know today is September 12th, but yesterday was September 11th, the anniversary of 9/11, 2001, where so many innocent lives were taken. And right now, I want to tell you what I thought of that day as a Newfoundlander and a Canadian. Um, I remember where I was that day. I was 11 or 12 years old. I was 12. And I was in intermediate school, and at the time, I was very confused at the time because I didn't know what was going on. The attack happened at 9 o'clock, and we started school around 9 o'clock, and a lot of things were going on at the time. Our bus union was on strike, so we didn't have no buses, and where our school was, it was called Grenfell Intermediate at the time. Now it's Express Valley High, where I graduated from again. Um, it was all the way down at the end of town at a place called Grenfell Heights. So our parents had to bring us to Grenfell Intermediate, which was way outside of town. Way you would need buses, and I don't know why. I don't know if the teachers didn't want to scare us, or if they didn't want to, you know, frighten us, or whatever the case may be, or they were too busy because of the strike situation, and they were just, everything was chaos that day. We had picketers and there was cars lined up as far as the eye could see, dropping kids off and picking kids up. But we had no idea what was going on. And obviously the teachers did. At recess and lunch, I'm sure they heard the news, but they didn't tell us. Anyway, at the end of the school day, a friend of mine at the time, Natasha Burns, came up to me and she said, "Travis, did you hear what happened down in New York?" And I said, "No." I said, she said to me, she said, "Do you know the World Trade Center?" I said, "Yeah, those two big twin towers. Yeah, I know them." I said, "A plane crashed into the World Trade Center." And at the time, I was like, "Oh, it had to be an accident. It had to be I figured it was like a single engine plane crashed into it or something like that. It had to be an accident. I didn't think there was no way in hell it could have been what it was." So I left that day, and my grandmother came to pick me up. My mother was working at a call center at the time, and I pity her so much. I pity everybody that day because all of the calls that she was getting was from the United States trying to wire between all other parts of the United States to New York, trying to figure out if their relatives were okay. And anyway, my grandmother came to pick me up, and she was just pale white. She was just couldn't believe what was going on. And she said to me, she says, "Did you hear what happened?" I said, "No." I said, I heard something. I figured it wasn't an accident. She says, "This was no accident." And it was all over the radio and everything else like that. So I got home and I said to my grandmother, I said, "I'm going to turn the TV on, find out what the hell is going on." Or I didn't say that, but because I said, "What the heck's going on?" So I flicked on the TV and I seen these two World Trade Center towers, the symbol of New York next to the Empire State Building and Statue of Liberty, in flames, and then boom, just drop. And I said to myself, I said, this cannot be real. This got to be some kind of movie trailer or horror movie. This cannot be real. I flicked every single channel. It was the same thing. I said to myself, my God, how many people were in those towers? So later on that night, me and my stepfather, I was actually sitting at this very spot. My stepfather was sitting right here, and my stepfather, Stu Dyke, is my hero, and he's been a fireman since the year I was born in 1989. And knowing so many police, paramedics, and people, just normal civilians and firemen, died that day in the World Trade Center. I looked at my dad. I looked at my dad, and I was just thinking he could have been one of them. Uh, Gander, Newfoundland, which is an hour away from here, helped so many stranded Americans during those times. And if I could say anything to the people of New York and to the rest of the United States, I can only pray and hope that something like the September 11th ever. And you know what? There's a lot of crap that's been going on recently about whether it was an inside job, about whether it was truly terrorists. I can only say it happened. It doesn't matter how it happened. But to every single life that was affected and every single life that was lost because of September 11, 2001 in New York, and to all the lives that were lost in Iraq because of the situation afterwards, I truly love you. I truly pray for you. And I truly want to let you know, especially now with the Syrian refugee crisis, Newfoundland and Canada, just like our national anthem says, we stand on guard for thee. And we only hope and pray that something like September 11th never happens again. But should the case come when anybody comes to our doorstep, we will be waiting with open arms, open hearts, and you're always welcome in Newfoundland.